myself. I am Becky Liggero, taking this off, of CoinGeek.com. And as I said, I'll be your moderator today for this panel, which is talking about innovations in blockchain. And we're going to examine how blockchain tech is going to lower your costs and increase your user base. Hopefully, that's the plan, that you'll walk out of here with some ideas on how to do just that. So for the next 45 minutes, or potentially a little longer now that we've started early, we're going to be discussing all of these topics. And if you guys have questions, please raise your hand as we're talking, and I will call on you so we can keep the conversation flowing in the right order. And I'm going to have the panelists introduce themselves, and then we will get the conversation going. So I don't know if you guys already did that.
No.
So I'll start with you.
Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you, Becky. My name is I'm the head of sales at Zonda Crypto. We're the largest centralized regulated crypto exchange in Poland and Central Eastern Europe with over 1.3 million users. We've been on the market since 10 years, and I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, not Elvin. Yeah, sorry. Dean, please.
Yes, thank you. It's okay. Thank you everyone that you are here. I hope that will be useful to have some change of short info about this technology. But my name is Dean Rakic. I'm a chief scientist and co-founder of Block Control. Actually, I'm since beginning in the blockchain area, not only in the crypto but the blockchain technology, lecturing, teaching, doing everything, building the technology. The last few years, after 7 patents, I built a complete new blockchain platform that will be shining in the next few weeks on the mainnet.
Beautiful. Elvin, please.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Edwin Folkebrand-Salavi. I'm a Swedish lawyer and a junior partner at the law firm Nordic Legal. We're a boutique law firm specialized in iGaming and Web3. I'm also one of the co-founders of First Block, which is a Web3 consultancy agency, purely Web3 and crypto native. I consider myself not only a lawyer but also a DJ. I've been in crypto since 2016. So yeah, quite invested in the space both personally and professionally.
Amazing. I love the term DJ. And like I said, I'm Becky Liggero of CoinGeek.com, which is a blockchain publication. And I've been in the iGaming industry for 2 decades now and been studying Bitcoin and blockchain for the past decade. So this topic is my favorite, and I hope you guys are as excited about it as I am. Right, okay, so I'm going to start off by throwing out a couple terms to the audience here. On-chain gambling, Web3 gambling, GambleFi casinos, and crypto casinos. So who in the audience has heard of at least one of those terms? Okay, all right. So we're going to start by having the panelists here explain to you what those terms mean to them, and I promise you they're all going to have a different answer. Yes, and I'm going to start with you, Mikhail.
So for me, actually, coming from the payments world, I don't hear that much of a difference in all of these. The Web3 is the biggest difference that actually stands out, but all of them actually show that it's, me coming from a payments world, the crypto casino means that the casino, online casino, that accepts Bitcoin payments. But when we're coming to a little bit into the Web3 or game, sorry, what's the term, GameFi?
It was GambleFi.
GambleFi, yeah, GambleFi. So we're talking more, I believe, as a mix of, let's say, full on-chain transactions, meaning that all the gambling happens actually on-chain, so it's more transparent. I believe it's probably elevates the trust factor in users. But I would love to actually hear the panelists a little bit more about that, because those are actually brand new terms that I did. The first time I heard about it was when I read these questions. So I'm very much interested to understand this time for this part I'm gonna be only listening.
I'm going to skip down to Elvin here because he taught me Gamblify companies as well. This is a new one for me. So please, Elvin, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so just for the audience, Gamblify is short for gambling finance. And in crypto, people love to add "fi" at the end. They like to create these financial markets, and Gamblify is an extension of that. And I think you were actually spot on. Gamblify tends to refer to that classical pure on-chain gambling experience. So it's smart contract execution gambling. So there's no need to deposit, no need to withdraw. You're basically interacting with your MetaMask, Phantom Wallet, or whatever, and the gambling happens on chain. Obviously, there's some there are smart contracts executing it, but obviously you have graphics, so it's a good experience and not a shitty one that it used to be. So you have games, and instead of them pings, there's a random number generator, maybe from Chainlink or another service provider, and then if you win, you get the money, the crypto then, so it's not fiat gambling. You get the cryptocurrency straight to your wallet, and if you lose, it goes, the smart contract holds it basically. So that's how I would describe Gamblify, and I think you were pretty spot on in your prediction.
And we'll dive a bit more into smart contracts and peer-to-peer payments in a moment. But Dean, please describe what you think of these terms.
I will take a look a little bit from the technical perspective. I agree from just the payment side, there is no difference. Someone has to gamble, to bet, to play a game, whatever, to buy some asset online, to pay, to withdraw, to get some reward, and so on. But technically, the problem is actually much more deeper. It's in between these terms actually, and actually not just the Web3 and on-chain, off-chain, whatever. We still struggle and have a problem with on-chain and off-chain technology. We cannot achieve the full. I would like to have on-chain everything. Me personally, from so many working with blockchain, but it's not possible yet because we have to decentralize so many things in the bureaucracy, in the politics, in such things that still strive and make a area that technology can pass through and be so shiny for the users.
Very good. Like I said, totally different answers. Very good. All right, so I'm sure that everyone in this room has heard about cryptocurrencies or digital currencies being used to fund player accounts in casinos. So we're going to have Mikhail talk a bit about how blockchain-based transactions are disrupting traditional payment methods when it comes to the online gambling industry.
Yeah, of course. So one of the biggest challenges that current online betting operators, gaming operators, whether it's an online casino or a betting sportsbook, have is accepting in a fast, efficient, and cheap way the payments from their clients. Traditional fiat rails have been notorious to be challenging, blocking sometimes a payment, or especially in a very competitive industry, it's very important to provide the best user experience possible for a client. So otherwise, you lose the client to the next best thing. So that's where blockchain payments, general crypto payments kick in, where it's it's a cheaper and a faster way to deposit, and it's fully transparent. And the best thing, you cannot block it. Like if you want to send a payment, it goes. Nobody can tell you what to do. So that's how disruptive this technology is. I won't go into the ins and outs of why about regulation and all of that, because then we're going to open, go down the rabbit hole of centralized versus decentralized, which is better and all of that. But in general, it's the speed and the cheap aspect of it. But also, obviously, online operators do take a lot of benefits. I mean, the data does show that adding blockchain payments to any betting operator. You don't need to be like a Gamblify or full Web3. A traditional sportsbook can add crypto payments, and they can increase their turnover by 20, 30, in some cases. Data show that it's up to 40%. Increase user retention up to 12%. You can show, make your sportsbook or your online casino more attractive to Gen Z, to the millennials, so you're attracting that right market, because it's very common. Crypto and gambling have the same customer profile, so it also elevates your brand and shows that you're modern. So there's, and we can go on and on and on. Definitely, I would say that faster and cheaper transactions, and nobody can tell you what to do. That would be the three most important things.
Very good, and it opens up your user base, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So if we take this a big step further and talk a bit more about peer-to-peer payments and how that can improve the experience in online gambling. Dean, I'm going to have you talk a bit about that. And what does that even mean? Can you explain to our audience?
It's very simple. The words and the title that you mentioned in the title tell us that a peer-to-peer, that means me to you or you to me, better to say, maybe. It's something that can happen via blockchain. The blockchain provides actually a technical background for peer-to-peer whatever, not only payment. We are talking about a payment, and our focus is always on a payment, on a fees. But what is the focus actually? The focus is actually data. It's a peer-to-peer data exchange. There is no currency, there is no physical money when we are talking about cryptocurrency. It's not virtual. People tell us, yes, it's a virtual, something that does not exist. No. Still, if it is a data somewhere, but the cryptocurrency are data, actually, data arrays that we are exchanging between us or between the stakeholders or peer-to-peer through the users of the network, that actually exists. It's the data. We're talking about the data. And overall is only about data. For the next steps in the whole industry, the one who owns this data will be in charge. But the blockchain gives an opposite point. No one to be in charge. That means that anyone who owns some data, no matter which platform, gaming, iGaming, responsible gaming, casinos, online casinos, healthcare, whatever, owns his own data. That's the main point from the beginning of the blockchain technology, not only from the starting of the Bitcoin. Peer-to-peer, first it was a cash, and from that idea developed the whole industry that we have nowadays. We are in the mess. Actually, we have thousands of cryptocurrencies. We have so many protocols. We have such a lot of different wallets, whatever. But the main problem still is data interoperability. We cannot still achieve peer-to-peer directly that someone can exchange because the stakeholders do not understand each other. We understand, we speak English at the moment, but technically, in technological part, when I send data in one data format from one currency, because the Bitcoin is just a data format of the file, nothing else, and someone wants to receive some other wallets with different currencies, they have to do an exchange. We are complicating actually our life as the blockchain gives a simplicity. We have to put that in a simplification and to make the interoperability that the peer-to-peer exchange should be seamless. Until then, we will still struggle. Yes, my platform is better, this platform is better. No, it's not the point. The point is to get the unique, interoperable technology under the blockchain principle that can exchange peer-to-peer, and anyone would not be in the problem to do anything, to pay, to buy, to transfer a data, whatever the type of the file is, no matter if it is from here, from Poland, from Australia, from Africa, whenever. That's the point.
Yeah, I think if we look at the Bitcoin white paper, it's right there in the title, isn't it? Peer-to-peer payments. But anyway, Elvin, let's maybe bring it back down to earth here. Elvin, I know that some of the clients that I believe you're working with, they are taking advantage of the peer-to-peer functionality of the wallets. You even have liquidity providers for casinos, so the operator no longer needs to be a bank. Can you explain how this is working to our audience?
Yeah, so as someone who has one foot in gambling and one foot in crypto, it becomes quite natural for me to help those who are in the cross-section of this industry. And obviously we have those that just want to accept cryptocurrency as a payment, so they have deposit and withdrawal. That's pretty straightforward. If they're a custodian, you take care of the legal matters pertaining to custodian regulations. But the interesting one becomes when it's smart, when it's gamified clients or fully on-chain gambling. So when there's no deposit or withdrawal mechanism, you're just interacting with the code. And because there's no deposit or withdrawal, you're not in control of funds, which means that you're also then, when you're a custodian, you have KYC requirements, etc. You need to ensure the funds are safe, you need to ensure who the player is. This becomes very difficult, and you can't really strong arm a player in these types of scenarios because you don't have their funds. They can then just leave. So if you tell them I want a KYC on you, they'll be like, screw you, I'll just go to the next operator. So what this has created in the industry is something called KYT, Know Your Transaction. So basically you scan, you have service providers that scan everything on chain because it's public information. You can scan all their history and see if they have interacted with bad protocols like privacy protocols, or if they're interacted with sanctioned wallets. So you automatically get a risk score of every wallet that comes to your casino. And I had a client, I'm a very big fan of this client. They didn't have a bankroll to start their casino. So they didn't have money they didn't have like 2 million to put into their bankroll. So what they did was they decentralized the bankroll. They went out on their Twitter and said, if you don't want to play, that's fine, but what we are now offering you is that you can become the bank, you can become the operator. So deposit your funds into this smart contract and you will share the revenue that the casino makes. So they have I don't know the exact figure, but around 200 depositors that are acting as the bankroll. And they're taking a small fee for this, of course, because they created the smart contracts and ensure they're hosting the interface and ensuring that the casino is operational and conducting marketing. So they're taking a fee on that, but the rest is going to those providing the liquidity. And this is something that is becoming more and more asked for by the industry in Gamblify, where players, maybe they have a lot of crypto, they want to park it somewhere to get yield on it, they want return. So they go to an operator and they become the house instead of gambling. So I think Gamblify is quite innovative right now. The industry opens up for a lot of new ideas that we haven't really seen in the traditional online gambling industry. And I got into gambling because I wanted to work with crypto, and I'm happy that crypto now is catching up to gambling. So I would say this is truly something I think people should investigate, or at least maybe try to dip their toes in. You don't need to go full on-chain gambling right now, but I think this is the future, and we are seeing. I had one client who made 300 million turnover on their first month of starting. So they're doing ridiculous amounts of attracting ridiculous amounts of GGR. So I think this is the future.
Amazing, but one word of caution, make sure you follow the regulations. Otherwise you won't be making that money tomorrow, I promise you. I know all of these guys are very good to hear. So we've been talking quite a bit about payments, and we need to work with wallets in order to get these payments in and out. And I know that I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I definitely have lost some Bitcoin. BTC I'm talking about is gone because I don't have my 12-word phrase and I can't get it back. So what innovations have been happening in these wallets to make it a bit easier for players to actually use them? Because I think this needs to happen before we're going to really take off with blockchain gambling. So I'm going to start with you, Michel.
Sure. So I guess I'm going to tackle the centralized part. I'm going to let the gentleman tackle the decentralized, definitely. So on the centralized end, that's actually one of the key advantages that that the users or our clients actually get. Being regulated, we are forced to be ultra diligent and have the highest standards when it comes to security. So working with the top custodians like Bitgo, Fireblocks, and others allow us, plus some proprietary cold wallet solutions that we have on our own, allow us to be ultra secure and plus a very friendly user interface. So let's say this is where the beginners always come in, right? The people that are not that much tech savvy, and because it's always like recommended, don't keep your funds on an exchange, right? Because I agree, but there's a little bit of a difference between one exchange and another, and if you're keeping it centralized, then at least you have the guarantee that whatever happens to your funds, you know that this is a regulated entity that you can always go and play and you can get your funds back one way or another. But I would say that to answer your question, it would be the user friendliness. So that's where centralized exchanges come. Then it's like very simple. Customer support is there. If I don't know what I'm doing, I just chat, call, email, and my problem is fixed. Obviously, nobody's going to fix the problem when you send your tether on a different blockchain, whether it's you have it on ERC20 and you set it on Polygon because you didn't know what to do, but at least that's on you because you need to be educated, and centralized exchanges give that option to educate the users. But that's what I would say. Use centralized in that case. If you're not confident or you're afraid that your seed phrase is going to get lost, use centralized. It will never get lost. You will always get your funds back.
Amazing, amazing. And Dean, I actually think that the wallet in your platform can do a lot of things besides. Yeah. Tell us about innovations going on there.
Sure, because you're right, completely. That's the point. The point is always the user has to have just a simplified user interface in a few clicks to finish his job, actually, whatever he's doing. But we have plenty of the wallets on the market. Centralized, decentralized, custodial, non-custodial, from different vendors, multi-signature, and so on and so on. But the most common problem from them, as Becky mentioned, is what about the wealth you have in your wallet? I have tried several famous wallets from Binance, from their exchange, but from their Web3 wallets, from the Coinbase. How can I prevent my loss of my funds based there? There is no recovery point. I did in the last few years, especially the USDT area of cryptocurrency, a forensic of lost wealth. It's a billions. Believe me, it's a billions. The people cannot, after the losing their mnemonic for 12 base, in some cases 24, cannot have their own wealth. And at the block control, based on my research from the last 5 to 7 years, we built a wallet which actually gives an ability to recover your funds, whatever you have. As the KYC is mandatory, we are under the regulation. Once you have created your wallet and did your KYC, there is no possibility to lose it. Because the biometrics and everything that we have as technology nowadays gives us an ability to prove again that the person who once created a wallet after the losing his credentials, whatever, or device, can prove that he is a owner. There are so many methods, and we build it, test it, and it's working.
Amazing. Love it. Ellen, please, go ahead.
What's the name of the wallet?
It's a block control BLC key. It will be on the mainnet in the next 2 weeks. It's on a testnet.
I'll just add, not your keys, not your crypto, as a as a proponent of keeping your own crypto on a non-custodial wallet. I mean, centralized exchanges are the first, I would say, entry point, but at some point, we're sitting here talking about peer-to-peer payments, and then on the other hand, we're talking about using centralized actors. I would say begin with a centralized actor, but try to be the controller of your own crypto, because if you don't want anyone to be able to take them, lock them, force you under KYC, that's what you need to do. And there are quite some horror stories in that regard, even with some of the biggest actors, I would argue.
Yeah, well, I would like to then ask a question here to follow up on that. Very soon the new travel rule will be in place. So, although I'm a big proponent of what you were saying, obviously that's the essence and the soul of crypto. It will be extremely difficult when travel rule, especially in Europe, when the travel rule is implemented, to get your funds out of a custodial wallet or a cold wallet if you can prove that the funds are yours, because many exchanges will have difficulty accepting those funds. And from experience, I recently was at an event in Milan, and we did have a quick side chat with the Trezor team. And it is actually a concern. I believe that Ledger would probably have the same concern at the moment, how to overcome the complexities here, or the issues when the travel rule is implemented, and only probably centralized exchanges will be allowed to send funds only to each other. And what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what the travel rule is, it's basically a AML directive, or maybe it's a regulation actually, but it's a new set of AML rules which forces you, once you're sending funds above 1,000 euro between a crypto as a service provider and another crypto as a service provider, or a self-host, non-custodial wallet, self-hosted wallet, that you need to KYC this individual and ask them a lot of data, basically, where were you born, blah, 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 boring AML stuff. And there are many ways that one can prove ownership of a wallet. You can sign a message via your wallet, you can do the Satoshi test, you send a very small amount. They tell you, okay, within 60 minutes send between $1 or $10 to this address, then we know you own the address. So there are many ways to overcome this. I work with some of the biggest exchanges, and at least they are prepared and feel comfortable about it. So I'm not too worried. I'm rather worried that the EU is regulating everything under a big umbrella of AML. But that's another topic.
That's another topic. We can open that kind of worms as well.
We've been here for 5 hours now.
Not just a topic, it's a complete story. Because the AML, not normally, all of us are interested in the counterfeit terrorism and the money laundering to prevent it. But it's not still possible. And at the moment, only centralized bodies can do something about that. We are in between somewhere by talking and taking the new technology. We are talking about peer-to-peer. That means the freedom of a travel rule, and to use your money, whatever, whenever you are, from which side of the border you are, doesn't matter. But still, we are under regulation of centralization, and it's a point of the struggle. It's not about the users, that the user want to use some digital form of the ID cards with complete biometrics, and wants to prove the KYC when they came on the first border outside of the European area or elsewhere, and after that will be anytime everything on his card currency is his ID, whatever, but still politics is on the umbrella, sorry.
Well, perhaps a way to soft launch into this world of peer-to-peer payments is through micropayments. In fact, who in the audience here has heard of micropayments? Nobody. Okay. So this is another one where there are several definitions for micropayments. So when I think of a micropayment, I'm talking about a penny, half a penny, an eighth of a penny. And there are opportunities in the iGaming world to utilize micropayments. You could perhaps, I don't know, bet, I was saying earlier on the Super Bowl, if you want to bet on every single move the football makes, you can bet a penny here and there, and it's not losing, your house or something. But anyway, so I wanted to ask the panel here what the opportunities are for micropayments in the iGaming world that you see. And since you're next to me, go for it.
So for me, micropayments, we do, first of all, obviously define what constitutes a micropayment. Data shows that crypto transactions in gambling or in betting are pretty small. They're not that big, probably because users like to deposit a lot, because it's a lot faster, a lot easier to deposit. But I believe we're more here rather talking about the less than $1 USD type of transactions, right? And you mentioned the Super Bowl. For me, it's not that market. That the market doesn't need micropayments. Micropayments are rather for markets that are developing, like in Latin America, in Africa. Those markets that a user, on average, a monthly salary is a lot smaller than the northern part, and more developed countries, so the developing economies. And that's where a user would like to not bet half of the salary all at once, but do multiple bets throughout the day because they're enjoying the betting experience. How does blockchain, for example, get involved? Well, there's a lot of the traditional, let's say, the traditional Bitcoin protocol is not fit for micropayments at all because it's a lot slower. But there are solutions like Lightning Network, which goes on top of the original Bitcoin protocol, which allows for a lot cheaper and faster transactions, and it's a perfect solution for micropayments in Bitcoin or any of the plethora, as we said, the plethora of new blockchains that are emerging, which all are focusing on the same thing. It's actually like a lot, and all of them are focusing on a lot faster, a lot cheaper, a lot faster, a lot cheaper. So the key point is to for any gaming company to focus on support the payments of a few blockchains that are the most popular. That's where payment operators like Zonda Crypto kick in, because we already are supporting the, let's say, top 10, top 20. But in addition, for gaming operators, micropayments is a huge advantage that allows them to enter new markets. So any operator that wants to enter the Latin market, an operator that wants to enter the developing market, then they need to add micropayments or the support for micropayments through blockchain, because by itself it naturally became a preferred method of payment in those developing economies. Not only because there's a lot of reasons, it's a lot harder to also send funds abroad. It's the fees are ultra expensive as well. Yeah.
Let me tell you, you make a great point that if you're looking into micropayments, it's super important to choose the right blockchain for this, because you need it to be scalable, you need the fees to be really, really low. Like the blockchain that I focus on, a CoinGeek BSV, is super, super cheap. So we talk about micropayments all the time. And sometimes I think you said, Elvin, that the threshold was 1,000 euros or something in order to fall under certain regulations. If you're using micropayments, perhaps you won't even get near that threshold. So I'm just throwing it out there. Dean, what do you think about opportunities for?
I think a lot about micropayments.
Yeah,
I was thinking actually the last few years, not only just about micropayments and all fragment payments and fragmentation up to the nano payments. We did a mess actually with technology of the cryptocurrency. We put our currencies, the society, and the people who are producing the cryptocurrencies on a 7th, 8th, 19th point under the comma. So that's a fragmentation. We are fragmenting actually from the first point of defining our currency in any area. We are fragmenting. That means we need this fragmentation to be in operation. It's not only about cryptocurrency, it is about digital currency that the CBDCs estimates in the future. Because, as you mentioned, other countries with their salaries, with their level of achievement in the digital technology and the finance could not achieve actually the normal system payment one-to-one. We need the fragmentation and the micropayments. And at the moment, and in the future, in the next 10 to 15 years, I'm pretty sure the blockchain is only technology that can support the micropayments and the fragments that we need. We are still in the position of and on-chain payments. Why the micropayments are very, very useful? Because most of the data that we have to transact in gaming, gambling, in other industries are actually off-chain. Why? Because of the fees. Although the crypto and the blockchain is suitable for the online iGaming, whatever, betting for the small amounts, the fees are in the most cases higher than the amount we have to transact. That's the core problem. And we have the off-chain payment from some providers. They're doing actually such kind of bulk collection of the transactions and charge once in and out points when we do it. It's actually not the point. Each transaction should be very cheap, no matter. We are coming back again to the point peer-to-peer. That means in game, in bet, the micropayments should allow me to you to do betting directly, peer-to-peer betting. And with micropayments under the blockchain is only possible because of the security from the first point. We are establishing a trust, transparent, because we are on the same level of the trust. Scalability, no matter how many users at the moment will use some blockchain platform to transact and to bet or to game or to buy assets, whatever, to sell, buy assets, beside the game. But the fees actually should remain at the micro level, not only the transaction amount. The people are mostly thinking, yes, the micropayments are the small amounts. Yes, they are. But the fees should be a micropayments, not the amounts.
Very good, thank you. And before we move on to data integrity, I wanted to just touch a little bit more on smart contracts. I know I promised you that. And perhaps, Elvin, you could talk a bit on smart contracts and how they really can automate things for operators, and they can enable instant payouts, fair payouts, and all of this kind of good stuff. Lower costs for operators, all of that.
Yeah, I just quickly...
Oh, yes, sorry.
I think many L2s have actually solved... Gamblify wouldn't be sustainable if fees were too high, and because it is a quite, I would say, a thriving market, it speaks, at least on the L2s, that it speaks for that this is a problem that is being solved. You're paying less than the 10th or 100th of a cent, so I don't think that is, an issue really, at least not for the users. Maybe, of course, it would be better if it were free, but then maybe you value the decentralized aspects of not having to deposit and withdraw.
Just to jump into the point, while me and my team developing the block control, the new platform, actually the new consensus protocol with there is no mining, there is no staking, there is no PPFTs, whatever, that's completely based on the lattice math from post-quantum resistant technology. survey that we did, actually each transaction, no matter what we are transacting, which crypto, which currency, whatever, should not cost more than 3 cents. That's the top level of costing. That's a micropayment.
Okay. Are we?
No, but I mean, shouldn't I mean, you're paying for security to some extent. I mean, people will gladly pay for security when we look at Bitcoin. When they gamble, maybe they don't.
Sorry, you are not paying for the security.
Yes, you are.
No. No. If you are not sure that if we are going to risky the technology and buying some cryptos and transacting with this crypto, and we are not sure in technology, then why you are paying security?
Yeah, but if you are sure, if for example in the case of Bitcoin, then you'll happily pay it. If you're not, then of course I agree.
I don't agree. We will open a new topic.
Then we will continue this discussion.
Because I want.
And the drinks later.
Just a second. Just to jump into that point, Becky probably knows a part of my previous work with the PSV and the other guys.
Another topic for
I was in the position to see forking 2 cryptos from Bitcoin originally, and how that looks like actually tracking back to the genesis from the point of 16 million Bitcoins was at 16 million and something at that moment, and we trace back completely to the, because we have to remine, so back to the zero and forward. We are not paying security. It's our opinion that we are paying security. In this world, that everything is still open, there is no security. Believe me.
I love your guys' passion, but back to how
that topic we can do some other time.
Yes.
We won't find consensus on this.
Sure. Therefore it's consensus.
Okay, so Ellen, if you can remember what I asked you.
Yes, I'll go back to your question about smart contracts.
Yeah.
But no, I touched upon this earlier, but the reason why I think many people are looking into GambleFi and then putting everything on chain, including the gambling, is because people are sick of centralized actors. They don't want to deposit somewhere and someone having control of their funds. I think that is one of the primary issues we have in the gambling industry, because when you deposit somewhere, you're giving away control. If you're going to go gamble on let's say a jackpot, you're trusting that entity that they have sufficient money in case you win the jackpot to pay you out. You're also trusting that you will get your money out if you win. So where you can eliminate trust, I think it's beneficial to do it. And when you put everything on chain, that's basically what you're doing. You're eliminating the purpose to deposit somewhere. You're gambling directly with the smart contract, and once it's determined if you win or lose, you get the money immediately. Also, you don't need to trust the operator. You don't need to worry about them controlling and, let's face it, holding your money, maybe because they can't pay you out. They're using KYC as a bad reason and asking you for a ton of documents. And frankly, if we're gonna say it's much faster as well, why bother depositing somewhere and then going to the game when you can go to the game directly and just connect and play? I mean, I had a client who I tried their product. I lost $30 within less than 15 seconds, and I didn't need to register anything. It was just connect wallet, sign a message, and then play on the slot machine. And I lost, but it goes that fast. And I think this is a user experience that will be premiered in the long run. And also, I think there's a lot of synergies between the crypto degens and gambling. They're used to gambling with their money, so it makes sense for them to just press buttons on a casino as well. So I think smart contracts could prove to be a golden egg a while for those operators who utilize it early on.
Very good. Okay. So I wanted to quickly touch on data integrity and how blockchain can help with this for operators. The timestamp functionality of the blockchain is really important. It's not very exciting, but it's important. It's basically a ledger, the blockchain, and you can keep track of your data on it. So, Dean, I just wanted you to touch a little bit on how this could help with responsible gambling initiatives, with helping out with dealing with regulators and things like that.
Yeah, the timestamp is actually the core of the blockchain. We use, actually, just simple, we use a timestamp as a moment where the transaction is verified and written to the block. That's the technical point, why and how that exists. It's nothing special looking from the perspective from our side. It's just one hash converted from some plain text from transaction. Whatever the payload of the transaction should be, it's hashed, and that moment in the milliseconds actually written on the block where the transaction appears in the block means verified. Another point of question is what is verified. We do not. There is also another topic and another story because the most of the blockchain does not verify the content and rating. Bitcoin itself does not verify the transaction. We are just solving some puzzle. It's not verification, but never mind. We're not talking about it. The timestamp is very important. Technically, it's supported. It's not only in the blockchains. It exists some years ago from the distributed database, distributed technology. The timestamp appears firstly from the distributed databases, and now in the relationship database we have also a timestamp. It's just a field that tells us when some transaction occur. It's very important for the gambling, for the regulatories, for any kind of compliance that we have to fulfill. We need a timestamp to know what happened at a certain moment of time. Therefore, we need it. It's a really, really core. No matter if we're dealing on a bulk off-chain gambling and on-chain, the timestamp always exists and should remain, because we mentioned AML, money laundering, how we can find some point of the money laundering. So timestamp. The timestamp is the first point. If we do not have a timestamp, we cannot trace back all the transaction lists and catch up the point where some transaction that is suspicious occurred. The timestamp is really, really, I can say, a core of all transactions that we have to do to the blockchains. No matter which blockchain, which consensus protocol uses, it doesn't matter. Which industry is being involved, the timestamp is the core.
And no more fees from regulators if you guys are doing this. You can prove it to them that you've done what you're supposed to do.
The proof point is based on the timestamp.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so we have 5 minutes left. There's one more topic I wanted to hit really quick, guys, before we need to close this out. It's digital IDs. I love this topic, universal ID. It's a bit futuristic, but we're getting there. I'm going to start with Michelle here to tell me why this is exciting for the gambling industry.
Well, definitely.
What they are.
For me, it's also an exciting topic, really much. I really believe in this part of blockchain actually using. It's refreshing to always see something the blockchain being used as something other than actually monetary value, because 99% of people only look at it as like, oh, it's money. No, it's not. It's actually something else. And using digital IDs actually fixes a lot of issues and bridges the gap between centralized and decentralized. And very big. Just as centralized exchanges are like the entry point to decentralized, digital ID on the blockchain can be exactly the same thing. I'm going to be very short here, and I'm going to give like my idea of how it could work. Bring a consensus of a few agents or companies that actually are approved to verify users before the transaction occurs, thereby eliminating the need of storing the or the value of that data. The data has no value yet because it's just a verified user. That is timestamped on the blockchain. You can timestamp it for 3 months, 6 months, depending on how much the actual traditional fiat world requires you to do it. And then with that, with your private key, basically it's like a fingerprint or a face ID. You sign up to any Web3 or Gamplify or anything else that you want on any decentralized finance platform, and then you're actually passing. You're just like reversing the way that you're actually verifying yourself before actually doing the deed. But once you want to go to any type of decentralized app, you just sign it with your private key, and then you actually are, in my opinion, my personal opinion, you are per the local regulations, as no matter how strict they are, you are actually playing by the rules.
Very good.
I agree completely with you. That's a very, very wide and fine explanation.
2 minutes, Dean, so 1 minute.
1 minute, okay. Again, I'm just revealing back that we as a society made the problem when we accepted crypto. I'm for the blockchain, of course, but we made a mistake with anonymity. We lost digital ID with anonymity. Still, in the last 2 years, since the KYC became a mandatory, especially in the EU region, we need to come back on the real point, because we as a human, who will approve that I am I and you are you? We have to see each other. That means by seeing, we are exchanging some information and data. That's the only point that the blockchain can approve. Once data stored, once again to be checked on a consensus principle, could be a simplified digital ID. We made a complication. We have to put that on the line.
Amazing. And Elvin, your thoughts on this exciting world of digital items?
No, it's a very interesting topic, and I mean, as a lawyer who works a lot with compliance, it's also interesting to see how criminals are really good at circumventing KYC or finding ways to break KYC routines and policies. This is we have the same issue here in the blockchain industry. So I don't think being anonymous or pseudo-anonymous is necessarily a bad thing. There are reasons why we need privacy, and should also remember that privacy serves a purpose, but it's a fine balance, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we end up with digital identity.
Yeah, imagine a world not having to upload documents every 5 seconds and you just log on like this. Well, I really hope you guys learned something and that you have found a way or two of how to automate things in your business and save some costs. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you, guys.